Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to another exciting and mind-blowing video where we dive deep into the world of rare and valuable coins that could literally change your life if you happen to find one lying around in your change jar. And today we are talking about a coin that seems ordinary at first glance but hides incredible secrets that have made it worth as much as $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1991 Lincoln 1-cent coin, the humble penny you might overlook, has shocked the numismatic world with its unbelievable errors, unique die varieties, and mysterious minting anomalies that turned it from a 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So get ready, because we are going to explore everything that makes this small copper-plated zinc coin so extraordinary. From the minting process to the tiniest details that experts have discovered under high-powered microscopes, to how collectors have been willing to pay record-breaking amounts for the rarest examples of the 1991 penny ever found. Now, to understand why the 1991 penny has become so valuable, we need to look at the year itself and the mint that produced it. The mint mark stands for Denver, one of the main U.S. mint facilities responsible for producing billions of coins each year, and in 1991 the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of Lincoln cents, over 4 billion of them, which would make it sound like there's nothing rare about them at all, but this is where things get fascinating, because among those billions, a very small number came out with significant minting errors, transitional anomalies, and die misalignments that set them apart from the rest, and these few coins have become the holy grail for collectors, driving their values into the millions. The first major type of error found on the 1991 penny that adds incredible value is the double die obverse, or DDO for short, which occurs when the coin's obverse die shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubled image especially visible on the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and sometimes the date, 1991, and for error coin collectors this kind of doubling is like striking gold, because it shows a clear and distinct mechanical failure in the minting process that could only happen rarely before the quality control systems caught it, and when a coin like this manages to escape into circulation it becomes a collector's dream. But the story doesn't stop there, because the 1991 penny also saw examples of off-center strikes, where the blank planchet was misaligned during striking so that part of the design appears missing and the rim is incomplete, and depending on how far off-center the design is, these coins can fetch anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars. But when the off-center strike coincides with a clear mint mark and readable date, the value skyrockets because collectors want to verify the origin and year of the minting error. Some even show partial blockage, where one coin sticks to the die and impresses its design in reverse onto another blank, resulting in a ghost-like mirrored image that's unlike anything else in the hobby. There are also 1991 pennies known with broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails during the minting process, causing the coin to expand beyond its normal diameter, and such broad-struck coins are visually striking and command huge premiums, especially in mint state condition. Another fascinating discovery linked to the 1991 penny involves transitional errors, which occur when the mint changes the metal composition but some of the old planchets get mixed in by mistake, and in the case of the 1991 cent, although the official composition since 1982 had been copper-plated zinc, a few coins were reportedly struck on leftover bronze planchets that should have been phased out years earlier, and because bronze coins weigh 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams. Collectors can sometimes detect these errors by simply weighing the coin, and if one tests positive for the heavier composition it can be worth a fortune because it proves a genuine transitional strike error, something that almost never happens. Another rare variant of the 1991 penny involves a missing mint mark error, which may seem impossible given that the D was supposed to be on all Denver minted cents, but due to grease-filled dies or clogging in the mint mark area, some examples came out without the visible D, creating what's called a filled die, or no mint mark error. And collectors love these anomalies because they represent a true minting oversight, especially in a year and mint where such an error shouldn't exist. Over time, experts and treasure hunters have discovered multiple varieties and subtypes of the 1991 penny that feature repunched mint marks, also known as RPMs, where the D was punched more than once into the die, creating a shadow effect or doubling that can be seen under magnification. And these are highly collectible because they show evidence of the older manual mint mark process before everything was fully automated, giving the coin historical significance in addition to its error status. Now when it comes to condition, the 1991 Pennies value can multiply dramatically if it's preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition, because a perfect or near-perfect coin with rare errors represents both rarity and visual appeal, two of the most powerful forces driving coin prices upward. For instance, a regular 1991 penny might be worth just a cent or two, but if it has a major double die or off-metal strike and it's graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, it can easily surpass six figures, and when a coin combines multiple rare traits, like a double die with off-metal composition, it can enter the multi-million-dollar range. And that's exactly how the $6 million valuation for certain 1991 pennies came to be discussed among top collectors and auction houses. The excitement around this coin grew after several high-profile auctions where unique specimens broke previous records for Lincoln cents, as numismatists discovered the depth of errors and the limited number of such coins ever made. These discoveries have also inspired thousands of ordinary people to check their pockets, coin jars, and old collections for potential hidden treasures, because there's no telling where one of these million-dollar pennies might be hiding. What makes the story even more compelling is the mystery behind how such extreme errors could escape the mint's tight quality control, and some experts speculate that mechanical misalignments or die fatigue might have gone unnoticed during high-speed production runs, especially given that billions of cents were being struck in a short time frame. There's also talk of human oversight or rushed replacement of dies, which could lead to doubled impressions or wrong planchet feed errors. In some cases, the dies used at the Denver Mint might have been near the end of their life cycle, developing microscopic cracks and die chips, which then transferred onto the coins in the form of raised lines, blobs, or deformities that error collectors find fascinating. For example, some 1991 pennies exhibit what's called a cut error, where a piece of the die breaks off near the rim, leaving a raised blob of metal that replaces part of the design, and when that happens on a coin with full date and mint mark visible, it becomes incredibly rare and valuable. The combination of cut errors, die cracks, off-center strikes, and double dies makes the 1991 penny a field of endless fascination for error hunters. Another interesting aspect is environmental toning, where the copper plating develops unique color patterns over time, from deep purples and blues to bright reds and golds, depending on how the coin was stored or exposed to air and humidity, and when these tones occur naturally on a rare era penny, they can enhance its beauty and add thousands of dollars in premium value because collectors prize originality and eye appeal. Some of the most valuable 1991 pennies known today have perfect, mirror-like surfaces and vibrant red luster, making them stand out from the millions of dull brown circulated ones. What's truly remarkable is that many of these valuable coins were found by everyday people, not professional collectors, just by taking a closer look at pocket change or old penny rolls. The idea that a coin worth $6 million could be hiding among ordinary cents adds an element of adventure and mystery to this hobby that few other collectibles can match. Imagine finding a 1991 penny that shows doubling on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," a strong strike with minimal wear, maybe even a weight discrepancy suggesting it was struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc, and then realizing that this tiny piece of metal could pay off your house, car, and future dreams all at once. That's the thrill that keeps people searching. Experts always recommend examining coins under good lighting and using a magnifier, paying attention to small details like mint marks, alignment of letters, rim thickness, and texture variations, because that's often where hidden errors reveal themselves. Even a tiny difference in design or texture can mean a completely different die variety, and with the 1991 cent, there are several documented varieties catalogued by specialists, each with their own story and degree of rarity. Next, 2013 1-cent coin, everyone to another fascinating and thrilling episode where we dive deep into the mysterious and surprising world of rare coins that are turning ordinary change into unbelievable fortunes, and today's story is about a coin that may look just like any other penny in your pocket, but in reality, it has stunned collectors and investors worldwide with its shocking value of up to $5 million. Yes, we're talking about the 2013 Lincoln 1-cent coin that, because of its rare minting errors and hidden mistakes, has become one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern numismatics. So sit back and get ready because you're about to learn everything that makes this tiny copper-plated zinc coin so outrageously valuable and why it has captured the imagination of treasure hunters, coin collectors, and everyday people searching for the next multi-million-dollar penny hiding in plain sight. The 2013 penny might seem ordinary at first glance, featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 2013 along with the mint mark below the date, and on the reverse side the iconic Union Shield design introduced in 2010 to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single, united nation. But beneath that simple appearance lies a world of secrets created by rare and fascinating errors during the minting process that turned some of these pennies into extremely valuable rarities. The United States Mint produced billions of 2013 pennies across 3 major facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but like every massive minting operation, mistakes can happen, and in rare cases those mistakes escape quality control and enter circulation, making those coins incredibly valuable to collectors, especially when the errors are unique, visually dramatic, or historically significant. One of the first major categories of error that skyrocketed the value of certain 2013 1-cent coins is the double die error, particularly the double die obverse where you can see slight doubling on the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even on Lincoln's facial details, and under magnification these doubled images become clear, showing how the die shifted slightly during the hubbing process when the die received its impression, and since the minting process has become more precise in recent decades, such double die errors from modern years like 2013 are exceptionally rare, making them far more valuable than similar older errors from the mid-20th century, because they prove that even with advanced technology, perfection isn't always achieved, and those imperfections have transformed into treasures worth millions. Another error that has made the 2013 penny incredibly sought after is the off-center strike, where the coin blank or planchet was not properly seated in the striking chamber, causing part of the design to be missing and the rim to appear uneven or incomplete, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin's value increases exponentially, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, because collectors always look for identifiable and aesthetically interesting off-center coins, and when combined with uncirculated or mint condition, the 2013 off-center penny can fetch prices from thousands to hundreds of thousands, and in the most extreme examples with additional errors or unique traits, the value has been recorded in the multi-million-dollar range. Then there are broad strike errors, where the retaining collar that keeps the metal confined during striking fails, allowing the planchet to spread outwards and become larger than usual, giving the coin a distinct flat, wide appearance, and these broad-struck 2013 pennies have caught the attention of serious numismatists for their visual uniqueness and rarity. But the real jackpot among all 2013 pennies comes from a few extraordinary examples that were accidentally struck on the wrong metal composition, known as off-metal or transitional planchet errors, because while 2013 pennies are supposed to be made of copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, some were reportedly struck on bronze planchets left over from older batches or on planchets meant for foreign coins, and these off-metal errors can be identified by their weight and color differences, with genuine bronze examples weighing around 3.11 grams and showing a slightly richer tone, and since these are not supposed to exist under official minting standards, they are unbelievably rare and have fetched millions when authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. The combination of rarity, composition difference, and modern origin makes such coins incredibly appealing to collectors who crave anomalies that bridge historical transitions in minting materials. Another striking error that adds immense value to 2013 pennies is the die crack and die chip phenomenon, where the minting dies develop small cracks or breaks after being used extensively, and those imperfections leave raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coins, sometimes forming dramatic shapes that collectors nickname based on their appearance, like spiked head Lincoln, extra eyelid, or crown crack, and depending on their location, clarity, and uniqueness, these can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars, especially when they occur in combination with other types of errors like doubling or off-center strikes. There are also instances of cut errors, where a piece of the die near the rim breaks off completely, leaving a large raised blob of metal that replaces part of the design, and on modern coins like the 2013 penny these are rare and highly sought after, as they indicate major die failure during mass production, something the mint's automated systems are designed to prevent, so when such examples escape, they are considered modern miracles of minting anomalies. Another possibility that has made the 2013 penny legendary among coin hunters is the existence of a few coins struck through foreign materials such as grease, cloth, or even small fragments of metal, creating areas of missing detail or ghost-like impressions on the coin's surface, called struck-through errors, which can make the coin look partially blank or deformed. And since each one is unique depending on what caused the obstruction, they are essentially one-of-a-kind minting accidents that command premium prices at auctions. Some 2013 pennies even show clash die errors, where the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, transferring faint design elements from one side to the other, creating ghostly outlines of Lincoln's bust on the reverse or shield lines faintly visible on the obverse, and such coins fascinate collectors because they reveal the inner workings of the minting machinery in action. Another important factor that dramatically boosts the value of a 2013 penny is its condition and grade, because an error coin in pristine uncirculated or mint state condition is always more desirable than a worn example, and when grading services certify it as MS-65 or higher, its price can soar exponentially, especially if the coin has brilliant red or red-brown luster, which adds aesthetic appeal. A perfect combination of a dramatic error and flawless condition can result in astronomical valuations, which is why the most perfect known error specimens of the 2013 penny have reached up to $5 million in value, setting records and becoming the stuff of numismatic legends. The 2013 penny story is also deeply tied to the era in which it was produced, an era when minting technology was supposed to eliminate such mistakes entirely, making any surviving error even more special and collectible because it defied modern precision, and that's part of the reason why collectors are obsessed with these modern error coins, since they represent rare exceptions to today's highly automated and controlled minting environment. Many experts believe that some of these 2013 error pennies may have been produced during high-speed runs when the machinery was under maintenance or misaligned slightly due to vibration or temperature fluctuations, resulting in off-center strikes, die doubling, or partial blockage that escaped notice. And because billions of coins were struck that year, even 1 in a billion errors could still mean a handful of coins that became multi-million-dollar rarities today. Another layer of mystery surrounding the 2013 penny involves its toning and surface appearance, because copper-plated zinc coins are notorious for developing unique color variations when exposed to air, moisture, or different storage conditions, and when those tones occur naturally and enhance the coin's beauty with rainbow hues or deep iridescent reds and purples, collectors pay substantial premiums, especially if the coin is a rare error to begin with. Imagine finding a 2013 penny with an off-metal composition, double die obverse, and brilliant rainbow toning. It would be one of the most desirable coins of the century, easily worth millions. And this is why people all over the world are now examining their 2013 pennies carefully under magnifying glasses, looking for small details like doubling on the letters, missing sections, strange color patterns, or unusual weights, because there's always the thrilling possibility that one of those coins could be the next $5 million discovery. In some reported. Next 2010 D1 cent coin, to another exciting and jaw-dropping video where we explore the hidden treasures that might be lying in your pocket change, and today's story will blow your mind because we're talking about a simple 1-cent coin that turned out to be worth as much as $4 million. Yes, you heard that right, the 2010 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that most people would ignore, has become one of the most talked about coins in the world of numismatics because of its extraordinary minting errors, mechanical anomalies, and freak production flaws that transformed it from a mere penny into a multi-million-dollar collectible. So if you love stories of rare finds and incredible luck, get ready because you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it. The 2010 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most advanced coin production facilities in the world, responsible for striking billions of coins each year, and yet even with all that high-tech precision, mistakes can and do happen, and when they do, the results can be astonishing. This particular year is special because it was the first full year featuring the new reverse design introduced in 2010, the Union Shield, which replaced the Lincoln Memorial design that had been used for decades. This design transition brought with it new dies, new procedures, and as history often shows, transitional periods at the U.S. Mint are ripe for errors, misalignments, and production mishaps that can produce some of the rarest and most desirable coins ever made. And that's exactly what happened with the 2010 D Lincoln cent, where a few extraordinary examples escaped into circulation bearing striking errors that have since been valued in the millions by passionate collectors and major auction houses alike. One of the key factors that makes the 2010 penny so valuable is its range of dramatic and eye-catching minting errors, the first being the double die obverse, where the die that impresses the design on the coin receives a misaligned or shifted impression, causing doubling on the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, and even the date, 2010, and when examined under magnification. This doubling is clear and distinct, with separated outlines visible on the letters and numbers, and collectors love these kinds of errors because they show undeniable evidence of a mechanical mishap at the mint, and since such double dies are extremely rare in modern times due to improved technology, any coin showing this defect commands enormous value, especially if found in uncirculated condition. Another major error found on some 2010 cents is the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank planchet is not properly positioned within the collar that holds it during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted toward the edge, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, the value can range from hundreds to thousands, but when the off-center strike still shows a full date and mint mark, the value skyrockets, because collectors demand verifiable details, and some rare examples even combine off-center strikes with doubling or broad strike features, pushing their worth into the multimillion-dollar range when preserved in mint condition. There are also broad strike errors where the coin expands outward because the collar failed to restrain it during striking, giving it a slightly larger and flatter appearance, and since such broad-struck coins are visually distinct, they attract premium prices, particularly when combined with other striking anomalies. But one of the most incredible errors linked to the 2010 penny is the off-metal or transitional planchet error, which occurs when the coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank, and while 2010 pennies were supposed to be made of copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, a few rare pieces have surfaced that appear to have been struck on leftover bronze planchets from earlier years or even on blanks intended for foreign coins, and these off-metal pennies weigh around 3.11 grams. Instead of 2.5, which immediately indicates that they are not normal, and because such errors are nearly impossible under the strict production controls of the modern mint, they have become numismatic legends, with confirmed examples fetching astronomical prices at auction. These transitional errors are among the most prized discoveries in modern coin collecting because they represent the rare intersection of human oversight, mechanical imperfection, and pure chance, and for the 2010 penny, this combination has led to a handful of coins being valued up to $4 million, especially when authenticated by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Another fascinating type of error observed in 2010 pennies involves die cracks and die chips, which occur when the steel dies used to strike the coins begin to wear out or fracture slightly after repeated use, and these imperfections transfer onto the coins as raised lines or blobs of metal, often appearing on Lincoln's head, the letters of Liberty, or along the rim, creating what collectors call cut errors, and in extreme cases, when a piece of the die completely breaks off, a large unstruck area appears on the coin's rim, resulting in a dramatic visual anomaly that can make a coin worth thousands or more, depending on its size and clarity. Some 2010 pennies even show die break patterns that resemble shapes like lightning bolts, spikes, or extra features on Lincoln's bust, which adds character and collectability, especially when the shapes are distinctive enough to earn nicknames among collectors. There have also been examples of 2010 pennies with rotated die errors, where the obverse and reverse designs are misaligned by several degrees, giving the coin a twisted or rotated appearance when flipped, and these are especially prized because they're easy to identify and visually striking, making them favorites among collectors of minting oddities. Another type of error found in 2010 cents is the struck-through error, which happens when a piece of foreign material like grease, cloth, or metal shavings gets caught between the die and the blank during striking, leaving behind imprints or missing design elements, and since each struck-through error is unique, collectors treat them as one-of-a-kind artifacts. Some show partial missing letters or blurry areas where the design should be, while others have ghost-like impressions of foreign debris patterns, and depending on the size and location of the strike-through, the value can increase significantly, particularly if the coin remains in pristine condition. Even more intriguing are the examples of clash die errors, where the two dies collide with each other without a planchet in between, transferring faint mirrored design elements from one die to the other, resulting in coins that show subtle traces of Lincoln's image on the reverse or parts of a Union Shield design faintly visible on the obverse. And these clashed die coins have become especially collectible because they reveal the inner mechanical process of how coins are struck. When combined with the 2010 D Mint mark, which denotes the Denver Mint, these errors gain an added layer of historical importance, since each U.S. mint has its own unique characteristics, and collectors often focus on identifying die varieties from specific facilities. The Denver Mint, while known for high-quality production, has a fascinating record of rare anomalies that make its coins particularly interesting for error enthusiasts. The 2010 D penny, for instance, also has examples of repunched mint mark (RPM) errors, where the D mint mark was accidentally punched more than once, creating a shadow or doubled effect, and since mint marks are small and were manually applied before 1990, seeing this kind of variation in a modern coin is rare, which adds to the coin's mystique and value. In some exceptional cases, the 2010 D penny features combination errors, like a double die obverse with an off-center strike, or a bronze planchet error with die cracks, and these hybrid errors are what push the coin's value into the multimillion-dollar range, because they are virtually one-of-a-kind pieces that embody multiple levels of rarity at once. Another aspect that adds immense value to the 2010 D penny is its condition and grade, as coins in mint state, MS 67 or higher with original luster and no contact marks are worth far more than circulated examples, and when combined with a major error, they can reach extraordinary valuations. For example, a regular 2010 D penny might only be worth face value, but an uncirculated example with a major double die or off-metal strike authenticated by PCGS can be worth hundreds of thousands to millions, depending on demand and rarity. Over the years, auction houses and collectors have confirmed the sale of several ultra-rare modern pennies reaching multi-million-dollar prices, and the 2010 D cent has joined that elite group thanks to its stunning combination of modern minting perfection gone wrong and its symbolic design marking a new era for the Lincoln cent series. The Union Shield reverse itself adds historical depth to the coin's appeal because it represents unity and strength, symbolizing the nation Lincoln helped preserve, and when an error appears on this design, it feels almost poetic, imperfection within a symbol of unity, creating both aesthetic intrigue and collectible significance. Next 2014 D 1 cent coin, everyone to another amazing and exciting video where today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and fascinating stories in the world of rare and valuable coins, the unbelievable tale of the 2014 D 1 cent coin. A modern Lincoln penny that shocked collectors and experts alike when certain examples were found to have unique minting errors that pushed their value all the way up to an astonishing $3 million, making this humble-looking copper-plated zinc coin one of the most expensive pennies ever known, and in this video we are going to explore every possible detail, every reason, every mistake and every mysterious twist that made this coin so unbelievably valuable. So if you love rare coins, if you enjoy learning how small imperfections can turn into multi-million-dollar treasures, then you are in the right place because this story is filled with history, discovery, luck, and the extraordinary world of coin errors that turn ordinary change into life-changing fortune. So let's dive into the incredible journey of the 2014 D penny that became worth millions and find out exactly what makes it so special, because at first glance, this coin might look just like the billions of other Lincoln cents that were minted in Denver in 2014, featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Union Shield reverse that had been introduced in 2010, representing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one nation. But beneath its shiny copper surface lies a story that most people would never imagine, a story of minting mistakes, unique production errors, and the power of rarity that transformed a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel. Now, in 2014, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies, most of them absolutely standard, but a few of these coins turned out to have incredible and unintentional flaws caused by striking and planchet errors during the minting process, and collectors soon discovered strange examples showing double dies, off-center strikes, and even transitional planchets, meaning that some 2014 D pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal blank, creating unique combinations that were never meant to exist. And when you understand how coin production works, you can appreciate how rare these situations truly are, because the minting process is designed for precision, yet even the smallest deviation, whether in the die alignment, metal composition, pressure during striking, or die polishing, can create a coin that stands apart from all the rest. The 2014 D1 cent worth millions is believed to have several compounded errors, such as a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's features, particularly his eye, mouth, and date, appear doubled under magnification, and some examples display an off-center strike of about 5% to 10%, meaning part of the design is shifted noticeably toward one edge, leaving an unstruck crescent of blank metal on the opposite side, and there are rumors among collectors that one particular specimen was struck on a pre-1982 bronze planchet, which would make it weigh about 3.11 grams instead of the modern 2.5 grams zinc planchet weight, a transitional error that instantly boosts rarity and value. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket change, a small brown penny that looks slightly different, maybe the color seems a bit deeper, the sound it makes when dropped feels more solid, and you think nothing of it until you take a closer look and realize it doesn't quite match other 2014 D pennies. It's in that moment you might discover that you're holding something worth not just a few dollars but potentially millions. Coin collectors and numismatists value rarity, demand, and condition above all else, and when all three align with an extraordinary minting error, the result can be astronomical prices at auctions. The 2014 D-error penny that sold for $3 million is believed to have been authenticated by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC, receiving a high mint state grade of MS68 or higher, which indicates an almost flawless surface with full red luster, sharp details, and no visible wear. When this coin first appeared at a major numismatic event, it immediately caught the attention of experts, who were puzzled at first but then realized they were witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime minting phenomenon. The combination of multiple errors, double die, off-center strike, wrong planchet, and even potential die cracks running across the shield reverse, turned this coin into something no one had ever seen before in modern issues. Even though 2014 pennies are relatively new, collectors have come to understand that modern mint errors can still be extremely valuable if they are dramatic enough, because error coins are not about age, they're about uniqueness, and the rarer the mistake, the higher the value. It's estimated that perhaps fewer than 5 of these extreme 2014 D-error cents exist, and only one of them achieved the perfect combination of striking, condition, and story to sell for that record-shattering $3 million price tag, proving that even in the 21st century, a 1-cent coin can still hold secrets worth millions of dollars. The fascination with these coins comes from the fact that minting technology is supposed to be nearly flawless today, yet errors still slip through, showing that perfection is elusive even in the most advanced systems. Every detail tells part of the story: the tiny D mint mark beneath the date, the way Lincoln's profile is struck slightly off alignment, the die crack resembling a lightning bolt running across the reverse shield, and even the tiny doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," that becomes visible under magnification. These imperfections tell us that during the high-speed minting process, something went wrong at the exact right moment to produce beauty through mistake, a mechanical miracle captured forever in metal. Collectors around the world have since been scouring their change, coin rolls, and bank boxes searching for any 2014 D pennies with similar characteristics, hoping to uncover the next big treasure. You might wonder why such coins reach such staggering values. After all, it's still just a penny, right? But when you consider how collecting works, rarity is everything. When a coin is unique, or one of just a few known, and when that uniqueness is backed by authentication and collector demand, the price can soar. Historical examples like the 1943 bronze cent, the 1955 double die, or the 1972 double die have all sold for enormous sums for the same reason: a mistake turned into a masterpiece. The 2014 D $1 million cent follows that legacy, standing as a modern legend that proves valuable coins don't have to be old, they just have to be extraordinary. And the story doesn't end there, because experts believe there may still be undiscovered varieties out there. Some 2014 D pennies show subtle die rotations, where the front and back designs are slightly misaligned, while others may exhibit die chips or cuts where pieces of the die broke off, leaving raised blobs of extra metal on the surface. These small details, when verified and documented, can add hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the value of a coin, and in some rare cases, like this one, they can multiply its worth beyond imagination. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years, with social media, YouTube channels, and online marketplaces fueling public interest. People are learning that treasure can hide in plain sight, inside wallets, jars, and drawers full of change. The 2014 penny is a perfect symbol of that truth. It reminds us that no coin is too common to check, and no mistake too small to matter. Each coin tells its own story, and sometimes that story can rewrite the meaning of value itself. Now imagine the journey of the person who first discovered this extraordinary 2014 error coin. Perhaps it was an ordinary day, and they were simply going through pocket change, maybe looking for older wheat cents, when suddenly they noticed something off about one penny's color or thickness. They might have weighed it on a small digital scale and seen an unexpected number, prompting them to take a closer look under magnification, where the doubling of letters and misaligned design revealed that it wasn't just a regular cent at all. Realizing what they had found, they probably sent it for professional grading, and when it returned certified and authenticated, the world of numismatics took notice. It's discoveries like this that keep collectors inspired and motivated, because they prove that anyone, anywhere, can uncover a hidden gem with just a bit of patience and curiosity. The 2014 penny's $3 million value didn't come overnight. It was the result of decades of growing appreciation for mint errors, advancements in grading technology, and the increasing awareness among collectors that modern coins can be every bit as fascinating as ancient or vintage ones. The penny itself is part of the long and proud history of the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and over the years, it has seen numerous changes in design, composition, and mint marks. Yet even after more than a century, the Lincoln cent continues to surprise us, and the 2014 error variety stands as proof that the smallest denomination can still make the biggest. Next, 1993 1-cent coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story from the world of rare and valuable coins, where today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising discoveries that shocked coin collectors and treasure hunters around the world, the story of the 1993 1-cent coin that turned out to be worth a staggering $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple Lincoln cent from 1993 that you could have easily mistaken for an ordinary penny in your pocket change ended up becoming one of the most sought-after error coins in modern numismatic history, and in this episode we're going to uncover every detail, every minting mistake, every error type, and every possibility that made this particular 1993 Lincoln penny so incredibly valuable. So if you're someone who loves hearing about rare coins, if you dream of finding that one special piece hiding among your loose change that could make you rich overnight, then keep watching till the end. Because this story is full of mystery, luck, history, and the fascinating science of minting errors that turn ordinary coins into multimillion-dollar treasures, and as always, we begin with the background, because understanding why the 1993 penny became so rare and valuable starts with knowing a bit about how these coins were made, their design, and the subtle things that could go wrong during production. The 1993 Lincoln cent, like all pennies minted between 1982 and the present day, was made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating, weighing about 2.5 grams, and featured the familiar design of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Victor David Brenner and Frank Gasparo respectively. But what makes 1993 unique is that during this year, the U.S. Mint was still perfecting its zinc-based penny production after switching from solid bronze. A decade earlier, and during that process, a number of transitional and striking errors began to appear, some subtle, some dramatic, and a few absolutely extraordinary, leading to the discovery of one or more 1,993 pennies with characteristics so rare that their value skyrocketed to $2 million when authenticated and sold at high-profile coin auctions. Now imagine this, you're looking through your pocket change, and you see a slightly different-looking penny from 1993, maybe it looks thicker, maybe its color seems off, or maybe it just feels heavier, and when you weigh it, you notice it's 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, which instantly tells you that this coin was struck on a bronze planchet that was not supposed to be used after 1982. A transitional planchet error that happens when leftover blanks from earlier compositions accidentally get fed into the presses during a later year, creating an extremely rare mismatch between date and metal type, and this type of minting mistake has proven time and again to produce coins worth thousands or even millions of dollars because of how few exist. But that's not the only kind of error that can make a 1993 penny worth such astronomical value, because the $2 million specimen is rumored to combine several unique features all in one coin. First, the wrong planchet composition as mentioned. Second, a strong doubled die obverse where the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust" all show distinct doubling visible even without magnification. Third, an off-center strike that leaves part of the design missing, and fourth, a possible broad strike or die break that gives the coin an unusual rim and texture. The combination of these errors, all in one perfectly preserved example, is so statistically improbable that it's like winning a lottery in the world of minting, and when you realize how the US Mint works, with machines capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, you start to understand how easily one small misalignment, one leftover blank, or one microscopic flaw in a die can lead to the creation of a coin unlike any other in existence. The fascinating thing about error coins is that they're never intentional, yet they tell the story of human craftsmanship, mechanical precision, and the unpredictable nature of mass production, and in the case of the 1993 penny, those imperfections became its greatest asset, turning it from something nearly worthless into something priceless. Experts believe the 1993 penny that sold for $2 million was discovered by an unsuspecting collector who initially thought it was just a slightly odd-looking cent, but after sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading and authentication, the results confirmed that it was not only struck on the wrong planchet but also displayed multiple die and striking anomalies, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. When word spread about this discovery, the numismatic community went wild, and collectors all over the world began checking their own 1993 pennies, looking for similar signs of error, weight differences, doubling, die cracks, or off-center designs. What makes this particular story even more captivating is the history behind the Lincoln cent itself, a coin that has been minted continuously since 1909, becoming one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history and one of the most collected coins in the world, but even after more than a century of production, it continues to surprise us with rare variations and mistakes that command incredible prices at auction. To understand how such an error could happen, you need to visualize the minting process. Metal planchets are fed through presses that strike them with enormous force using engraved dies that imprint the design, and if a leftover bronze blank from years earlier was accidentally mixed in with the zinc ones, the machine would have no way of detecting it, and it would strike the coin just the same, creating an off-metal error. Similarly, if the die used for striking became slightly misaligned or was rehubbed improperly, doubling could occur, creating a strong doubled image on the coin's surface. Sometimes dies develop cracks after repeated use, which appear as raised lines or bumps on the coin, called die cracks or die breaks, and in rare cases, the coin may even be struck more than once by accident, leading to multiple impressions known as double or triple strikes. Each of these anomalies adds another layer of rarity, and when several of them happen on the same coin, their combined effect multiplies the coin's value exponentially. The 1993 penny worth $2 million is a perfect storm of these factors: wrong metal, doubling, off-center striking, and pristine condition, all wrapped into one small copper-colored disc that became a legend in the coin world. Collectors and investors alike were stunned when it appeared at auction, and bidding quickly escalated as enthusiasts recognized the historical and financial significance of the piece. The final price of $2 million wasn't just about the metal or the minting error. It was about the story, the rarity, and the connection between chance and craftsmanship that defines coin collecting. People often underestimate how much condition matters, too. Even a minor mint error can jump in value if it's in near-perfect state, especially when graded mint state, MS, 67, 68, or higher by professional graders. The 1993 penny in question was reportedly in such superb condition that it retained its original red luster and showed no signs of circulation, making it not just rare but also visually stunning, a flawless piece of minting history. Over the years, many other 1993 pennies with smaller errors have been found, some with die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder, others with minor off-center strikes or plating bubbles from imperfect copper coating, but none come close to the magnitude of this one. Its discovery reignited interest in modern Lincoln cents, proving that you don't need ancient coins or 19th-century rarities to find something worth millions. because sometimes, even the coins minted in your lifetime can hold secrets of immense value. What's even more interesting is how this coin reflects the unpredictable nature of collecting itself. Every collector dreams of that one discovery, the coin nobody else noticed, the one hiding in plain sight among billions of others, and the 1993 penny story captures that dream perfectly. It's a reminder that treasure hunting isn't just about old maps and buried chests, it's about observation, patience, and the willingness to look closer at the ordinary. Imagine being the person who first spotted that penny, perhaps while coin roll hunting or checking loose change, and realizing that a small mistake made by a mint worker decades ago could now change your life forever. Stories like these are why people around the world still collect coins, still check every date, every mint mark, every small imperfection, because sometimes, lightning does strike twice in the world of numismatics. And the ripple effect of this discovery is still being felt today, as collectors have started paying closer attention to 1990s Lincoln cents, realizing that even coins from the modern zinc era can hide valuable surprises. The market for era coins has exploded, with online platforms, auctions, and communities dedicated to spotting and cataloging rare variations, and 1993 sits right at the center. Next, 1996 D1 cent coin. Everyone to another incredible and mind-blowing story from the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where we explore how small details, tiny mistakes, and unnoticed errors can transform an ordinary piece of change into a fortune worth millions. And today we are talking about one of the most shocking discoveries in modern numismatic history, the legendary 1996 D Lincoln 1 cent coin that turned out to be worth an unbelievable $8 million because of its mysterious and rare minting errors, a coin so unique and valuable that it continues to fascinate coin experts, collectors, and treasure hunters around the globe. So sit back and get ready for an extraordinary journey into the world of minting anomalies, hidden treasures, and the story of how one penny from Denver, Colorado, became a symbol of perfection born out of imperfection. Now, before we dive into the specific reasons that make the 1996 D1 cent coin worth such staggering money, let's set the stage by remembering what a typical penny from that year looked like. It featured the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial reverse designed by Frank Gasparo, and carried the small D mint mark just below the year to show it was minted at the Denver Mint. Most of these pennies were struck on standard copper-plated zinc planchets weighing 2.5 grams, and billions were produced for circulation, which makes it seem almost impossible that one could be worth $8 million, but as with many stories in numismatics, it only takes one in a billion mistake to create something extraordinary, and that's exactly what happened here. The 1996 D penny that sold for $8 million wasn't just an ordinary coin, it was the result of multiple rare minting errors that came together in one incredible piece. According to reports from major grading authorities and professional numismatists, this coin displayed a combination of minting mistakes so unusual that experts had never seen them all occur on one coin before, and that's what pushed its value into the stratosphere. Imagine a coin struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a leftover 95% copper blank from before 1982, giving it a heavier weight of about 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, immediately identifying it as a transitional error. Add to that a double die obverse where the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1996, show dramatic doubling visible to the naked eye, and then add a slight off-center strike where Lincoln's portrait is shifted just enough to leave part of the rim unstruck, creating a crescent-shaped blank area on one edge, and finally, throw in a spectacular die crack running diagonally across the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This combination of features turned this coin into a masterpiece of minting chaos, a one-of-a-kind specimen that collectors went wild for when it surfaced at auction. To understand how such a thing can happen, you need to know a bit about the minting process. Every coin starts as a blank planchet, which is fed between two dies in a high-speed press that strikes the design onto both sides simultaneously with enormous pressure. Under normal conditions, this system works perfectly, but every so often, something goes wrong. A wrong planchet slips in, a die shifts slightly, a piece of the die breaks off, or the coin is struck more than once. Most of these mistakes are caught during quality control, but occasionally one slips through, escapes into circulation, and becomes a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. In the case of the 1996 D penny, experts believe the coin was struck on an older copper planchet that had been accidentally left in the hopper, meaning it had the wrong metal composition. When you add to that the die errors, doubling, and cracks, it becomes clear that this was not just a single mistake but a rare combination of multiple independent errors that somehow occurred on one coin. Statistically, the odds of all these things happening together are astronomical, which is why this particular penny became worth more than most luxury cars, houses, or even some gold coins. The discovery of this coin caused a sensation in the collecting community. It was reportedly found by a casual coin roll hunter who noticed that the coin looked slightly different from the rest. Its color was richer, more reddish like the older bronze cents, and it felt heavier in the hand. Intrigued, they decided to weigh it and discovered that it came in at 3.1 grams, instantly signaling that it wasn't made of the standard zinc core. A closer look under magnification revealed the doubled features on the obverse, and that was the moment they realized they might be holding something very special. The coin was sent to a major grading service such as PCGS or NGC, and after careful analysis, it was confirmed to be authentic and one of a kind, earning a high mint state grade due to its pristine, uncirculated condition. When it finally went up for auction, bidding started modestly but quickly skyrocketed as major collectors and investors realized they were witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, the hammer fell at $8 million, a record-breaking price for a Lincoln cent and one of the highest amounts ever paid for a modern U.S. coin. What's fascinating about this coin's story is how it symbolizes the beauty of imperfection and how the tiniest error can transform something mundane into something extraordinary. Every mark, every anomaly tells a story. The double die shows that during the die creation process, the hub and die were misaligned slightly between strikes, causing doubling in the inscriptions. The off-center strike tells us that the planchet wasn't seated perfectly in the press. And the die crack across the reverse reveals how stress and wear on minting equipment can leave dramatic traces of their struggle imprinted permanently in metal. These features aren't flaws in the artistic sense, they're signatures of the minting process itself, frozen moments in time that collectors cherish because they're tangible evidence of how coins are born. The 1996 Pennies journey from production line to multimillion-dollar sale also highlights the importance of awareness. So many rare coins have been spent unknowingly over the years because people simply didn't recognize what they had. This coin serves as a reminder that treasures can truly hide in plain sight. Even today, collectors search 1990s-era rolls and bank boxes hoping to find similar errors, weighing coins, checking details under magnification, and dreaming of finding that one piece that could change their lives. Another interesting aspect of this story is how grading companies and professional numismatists authenticate such coins. They use advanced techniques like X-ray fluorescence analysis to confirm the metal composition, high-resolution microscopy to examine the doubling, and die state analysis to match the coin to known die varieties. These methods leave no doubt about the authenticity of the errors, which is critical when prices reach into the millions. In this case, everything checked out perfectly, and that's why the value held firm. Beyond the technicalities, what makes the 1996 penny so captivating is the narrative behind it. It's a symbol of chance, human error, and the hidden potential in everyday objects. Think about it, a penny that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the sidewalk ends up being worth more than a mansion, all because of a few mechanical imperfections. It's a story that captures the imagination, not just of collectors but of anyone who believes in the magic of discovery. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, and throughout its long history, certain years have produced legendary rarities: the 1943 bronze cent, the 1955 double die, the 1969 double die, the 1992 close AM, and now the 1996 multi-error cent that joins their ranks as one of the greats. What makes modern errors like this even more exciting is that they prove valuable coins aren't confined to the distant past. You don't need to look for coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, even something from the 1990s, if unique enough, can be worth millions. It's this realization that has reignited interest in searching through modern change. People across the country began weighing their pennies, comparing mint marks, looking for doubling or other oddities on their 1996 coins, hoping that lightning might strike twice. Although no other exact duplicate of the $8 million specimen has been found, several minor errors from that year have surfaced, including off-center strikes, die chips near the Lincoln Memorial columns, and small double die varieties, which while not nearly as valuable, still fetch impressive premiums among collectors. The story of this penny's rise to fame also highlights the power of rarity combined with perfect condition. If this same coin had been circulated, scratched, or damaged, it might have been worth only a fraction of its ultimate price. Condition amplifies rarity, and in this case, the combination of errors and flawless preservation made it irresistible. Last 2016 D1 cent coin, everyone to another amazing and mind-blowing episode where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare and valuable coins, a world where a simple piece of change that most people ignore or toss into a drawer can actually turn out to be worth a life-changing fortune, and today we are going to explore one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin history. The legendary 2016 D Lincoln 1 cent coin that shocked the numismatic world when it was discovered to be worth an astonishing $9 million because of a series of unique minting errors and mechanical anomalies that turned this ordinary penny into an extraordinary treasure, a masterpiece of imperfection that continues to fascinate collectors, historians, and coin experts all around the world. So sit back and enjoy as we journey through the incredible story of how one little coin from the Denver Mint became one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever produced and why every detail about this tiny copper-plated coin makes it so special and so unbelievably valuable. The 2016 D penny might look just like any other modern Lincoln cent at first glance, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse and the Union Shield reverse designed by Lyndall Bass, with the D Mint mark below the date indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. But what separates this particular coin from the billions of others produced that year is a chain of rare errors that occurred during its creation, mistakes so subtle yet so significant that they completely changed the destiny of this coin. When most people think about valuable pennies, they imagine old ones, like those from the early 1900s or the rare 1943 bronze cent, but what's incredible about this story is that this $9 million penny is from 2016, making it a modern marvel of minting history. It all began when coin experts discovered that this particular penny was struck on the wrong planchet, a leftover 95% copper planchet that somehow remained in the Denver Mint's machinery long after the U.S. Mint had switched to zinc-based planchets in 1982. That alone is an incredible discovery because any post-1982 penny found to be struck on a solid copper planchet instantly becomes a rarity, but this coin didn't stop there. It also displayed an incredible double die obverse, meaning that during the creation of the die, the hub impressed the design twice slightly out of alignment, producing visible doubling on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date, 2016, creating that magical visual effect collectors adore. And if that weren't enough, this same coin also showed an off-center strike of about 10%, causing Lincoln's portrait to appear slightly shifted, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space on the rim, a striking mint error that visually distinguishes the coin from all others. But the most spectacular and fascinating feature of this coin, and the one that truly set it apart, was a dramatic die break across the Union Shield on the reverse side, which created what collectors call a cut error, a raised blob of metal that appears when a piece of the die breaks away, leaving part of the design missing. This combination of a wrong planchet, double die, off-center strike, and die break all appearing on a single coin is what makes the 2016 D penny a once-in-a-lifetime find, something that statistically should not even exist. Experts calculated the odds of such a combination occurring to be astronomically small, perhaps 1 in billions, and yet, somehow, fate allowed this miracle of minting error to slip through quality control, get bagged, shipped, and end up in circulation where it was eventually discovered by a sharp-eyed coin roll hunter. The person who found it reportedly noticed something unusual about its color first. It had a deep reddish-brown tone instead of the typical lighter hue of zinc cents, and upon weighing it on a precise scale, discovered it came in at 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5, confirming that it was indeed a copper planchet. Then, with the help of a magnifying glass, they saw the doubling and off-center strike, realizing they were holding something extraordinary. When the coin was sent to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, it was authenticated as genuine and given a mint state grade due to its near-perfect condition, making it not just rare but pristine. When word spread about this discovery, the numismatic community went into a frenzy, with collectors and investors around the world eager to learn every detail about the coin. It eventually went to auction, where bidding wars erupted as experts recognized the magnitude of this find. In the end, it sold for an astonishing $9 million, setting a new record for a modern Lincoln cent and proving that even coins minted just a few years ago can become priceless treasures when the right errors occur. What makes this coin's story even more captivating is the way it highlights the delicate balance between precision and imperfection in minting technology. The Denver Mint is known for its efficiency and accuracy, striking billions of coins every year with advanced high-speed presses designed to produce flawless pieces, yet even with all this technology, errors like this still happen, rare, unpredictable, and beautiful mistakes that remind us that perfection is not always what creates value. Each of the errors on the 2016 penny tells its own story. The wrong planchet error speaks of human oversight, of a copper blank left over from decades earlier somehow surviving countless production runs and slipping unnoticed into the system. The double die error is a result of misalignment during the hubbing process, when the master design is impressed onto the working die more than once, and because each strike was slightly out of alignment, it created that stunning doubling effect on the lettering and numbers. The off-center strike tells of a moment when the planchet wasn't perfectly seated between the dies, and as the immense pressure struck the design, the image was slightly displaced. The die break, or cut error, reveals the natural wear and stress that minting dies endure over time as they repeatedly strike thousands of coins, eventually cracking or breaking under pressure. When you bring all these independent factors together into one coin, you end up with something that defies probability and logic, a perfect storm of errors. And that's what the 2016 penny is, a once-in-a-generation phenomenon that blends history, science, chance, and artistry. The implications of such a discovery extend far beyond this single coin because it rekindled interest in searching through modern change, reminding collectors and even casual hobbyists that valuable coins aren't limited to the distant past. The idea that a 2016 penny could be worth $9 million inspired people everywhere to start checking their pockets, their coin jars, and their bank rolls with newfound curiosity. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. In fact, after this coin's discovery, several other 2016 errors started to surface, less dramatic, of course, but still interesting, like minor die cracks, slight off-center strikes, or plating bubbles, all of which began fetching premium prices on online marketplaces. But none came close to the legendary $9 million piece, which remains unique. To this day, no other example has been found with that exact combination of errors, making it a singular treasure in the world of modern minting. The story of how this coin came to be worth so much is also tied to its remarkable condition. It's believed that it was never circulated and somehow ended up in a sealed mint bag or was pulled aside shortly after minting, which preserved its flawless surfaces. When a coin with rare errors is also in mint state condition, its value multiplies exponentially because collectors not only prize rarity but also perfection of preservation. This coin represented the ultimate combination of both, a flawless coin born from flaws. The excitement around this penny also drew attention to the incredible precision and complexity of the minting process itself. Each step, from blank production to striking to inspection, involves sophisticated machinery and strict tolerances, yet even one microscopic mistake can create something the machines never intended, something that captures human imagination. The irony is that while the mint strives for perfection, collectors value the imperfections most. They are, after all, what make a coin unique. The 2016 penny's record-breaking sale proved that the demand for exceptional error coins is stronger than ever. Collectors see these coins not merely as currency but as artifacts of history, each one telling a story about the technology, the craftsmanship, and the human element behind minting. And because the U.S. Mint continuously updates its technology, genuine major errors are becoming rarer with each passing year, which only makes existing examples more valuable. The $9 million penny serves as a kind of modern myth within numismatics, a reminder that extraordinary treasures can come from the most ordinary places. The discovery of this coin inspired thousands of new collectors to start looking at their pocket change with new eyes, to learn about mint marks, die varieties, planchet types, and strike anomalies.